Welcome to Vibe and Shine, the podcast where prosperity meets personal growth. I'm Krista. I support ADHD mamas and help them clear mental clutter by clearing what's going on in their minds, ditching the shame, and working with their brains rather than against them.
And I'm Jessica. I'm your growth-minded guide who helps you align with the most inspired and intentional version of yourself in both life and business.
So in each episode, we'll dive into mindset shifts, strategies, and business insights that fuel success while keeping alignment and well-being at the center. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or someone on a journey of self-discovery, this is your space to grow, thrive, and create a life by design.
When you walk into a room, do you feel like your presence increases your value or your expenses, Krista? In this episode, we'll explore what it means to have the currency of confidence and ways you can increase yours to grow in all areas that you desire to.
So let's unpack that a little bit. We're not just talking about money here. We're talking about energetic currency. So that's the way you carry yourself, the confidence you exude, and the value you believe that you bring. And it all shows up before you even open your mouth. So confidence isn't just a vibe. It's a signal. People can sense it. It affects how you're treated, what you're offered, and how much you're paid, and even what opportunities come your way.
So I want you to ask yourself, honestly, when you step into a meeting, a negotiation, or even a relationship, do people feel like you elevate the room, or are you shrinking yourself and your value before they even have a chance to see it? Your internal sense of self-worth silently determines your external net worth. And today, we're diving into exactly how and what you can do to raise both. So topic number 1 today is the meaning behind confidence currency. Krista, I want to ask you a question, and feel free to answer in whatever way comes up for you.
Sure.
It's most aligned. Have you ever had a moment where you knew you were playing small?
Oh, I've had many. So in regards, I've talked about this in the last couple episodes. We have made a purchase on a new house for our family. And with that was a lot came with that. I have been looking for about 5 years. We've been kind of outgrowing our house, 3 kids, 10, 8, and 5. And you know, I played small when I would find a house that I thought could really work for us, and didn't really push, didn't really, want to fight, and honestly wasn't bringing in half as much money as my husband. And so I kind of felt like, well, he's the breadwinner, so if he says no, then that really probably means we really shouldn't. So I played small. Mm-hmm. And I found a house that I call our dream home, and I really felt that it was exactly what we need in this moment. And so I really pushed and felt confident in it. And I think that also showed him, it worked through my vibe, if you will. Mm-hmm. He got that and understood where I was coming from. So
that's awesome, and kind of a segue into what we're talking about too with your example there. You place a lot of value on your husband's financial currency that he brought in.
Yeah.
But you undervalued your amount of currency per se that you bring into the home, mm-hmm. and your economic value that's not tied to dollar signs.
Very much so.
And I'm sure that, your husband could appreciate a nice cooked meal when he gets home from work. The kids are all bathed, taken to their classes, sports, everything like that.
Yep.
And so you can see there is value in that. Mm-hmm. And there is an economic value in that, because that is something that, your husband doesn't have to do when he gets home.
Right.
And he has that taken care of for him.
For sure. We actually just talked about that the other day. And I said, when I can take care of myself, then I show up as a present and, clear-minded mom for not only my kids, but for him too, when and if he comes home stressed. And so mm-hmm. add that into the mix of, the value that's added too.
Mm-hmm. And throughout this episode, I think I want to challenge people to question themselves as if they have the capability to do both. Can you bring economic value into the household, and can you bring in dollars to the household as well? Can you be that person that is kind of like the funnel for both if need be?
Yeah.
And can maybe your significant other do the same? Or maybe not.
Yeah.
But I just want to challenge everyone to think about that in ways that you possibly could make that happen. And a lot of it is exchanging time for money, which we'll get into. But an example like that you just shared with us is based off of the feeling of not enoughness that ties directly into value, the value that we feel that we provide to others, whether it's in a monetary standpoint or not.
Yeah, that's a great challenge because it isn't one or the other. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah. I mean, historically, it hasn't been. It's been, the men, they go out to work and the women stay home and they're the caregivers. But if the men didn't have the caregivers, they couldn't go out to work. Right. And if the women didn't have the men going out to work, they didn't have any money to bring in for the kids and themselves. So, it's a very different time period right now. We're not really in that. And at least in the United States, maybe some other countries, but that's pretty much how it's been, for all of time. And this new age we're living in challenges you to maybe step out of those societal roles that have previously been there and challenge your ability. Yeah. Use your intuition to bring more value to people. So,
yeah. And that leads us right into this topic that we're talking about today. So, okay. So can you think of a time when you said yes to something or stayed silent because you didn't believe you were worthy of more? Maybe it's a job you took that paid less, that you deserved more, a client that kept you even though they drained your energy, or you kept them even though they drained your energy, or a moment you wanted to speak up but didn't.
Yeah, for me, the biggest factor in my life has been working for my family. So I'm sure you can relate to that a little bit, but I was in a career where I was fully enmeshed with my family. I actually had not previously either lived or worked with my family up until age 29. And I'm 31 for reference. So it was either I was living with them, then I moved out, and then I was still working for them. So I say for them, but with them, because it is part of my succession. So yeah, that would be the biggest thing for me. And I said yes all the time because it was family. And I had to show up for my family because that was ingrained in me from a child and passed down from generation to generation, that you needed to be there for your family whenever they called. And it's not the same for me right now. I think that there is a time and place for every family member, but not that you have to earn time with me, but my time is more valuable to me. Yeah. So I need to diversify everything that I have going on in my life. Yeah. And sometimes that does not involve spending time with family in the same capacity.
Yeah, I think a lot of our listeners could probably relate to that.
Yeah.
That
it hits home.
Yeah.
Quite literally. Yes. But yeah, we've definitely all been there. And these moments become turning points. So if we're willing to look at them like that and learn from them, then they can be. And that's exactly what happened to me. I had hit an emotional rock bottom, we'll say. And needed to get out of the environment that was so toxic to me. And it's not that my family members are toxic, but the environment that was, created with everybody at that specific time wasn't working for me. It didn't feel safe in my body anymore to be there, but it did feel familiar. So that was the challenge. The challenge was getting out of a familiar space and going into an environment that would challenge me to grow. Yes, it would be uncomfortable, but not in a sense where it brought me back to, we all have an internal thermostat. It brought me back to that temperature that felt great. Well, now I'm challenging myself at very high temperatures and very low temperatures. So it's growth. Yeah. Really what got me out.
That's what it comes down to, is growth. But it's also good for you to have recognized that. Like, I think a lot of us stay in the familiar. I can't say that word.
Familiar. But it is a hard word.
They stay in that familiar bubble, for lack of a better term, because it feels safe. But I don't know. And also differentiating, it wasn't that your family was necessarily toxic. It was just like that environment. And removing yourself from it helped you grow.
Yeah. And you can see that, I knew that even while I was in it, but it took a choice and a decision. I literally, like we talked about this before, decide, meaning to cut off everything else.
Yep.
And I had to literally cut off that piece of my life, not the memories and stuff like that, but that avenue, it couldn't be part of my future if I wanted to experience something different.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that was that.
Well, thank you for sharing and being vulnerable.
Of course.
So let's move on to topic 2, multiply the message when confidence meets value. So we're going to talk about our avid, what's the word?
Kind of like analogy breakdown.
Our fancy avid word. So let's start with A, awareness. Okay, so the amount of money you earn isn't just tied to how hard you work. It's tied to the energy you bring and the value you believe you offer. Your confidence is a currency, and the more you believe in your own worth, the higher you can rise through the levels of value. I love it. It's so true. So for today, we're going to unpack Myron Golden's powerful framework to show how your inner belief system directly impacts your outer wealth potential.
And just to interject here, I think this is one of the most important things that you could get the concept of. Once you understand this, you're going to be able to do literally whatever it is that you set your mind to, just by the power of belief alone. And you don't even have to believe in the thing that you're doing. You have to believe in belief.
Ooh.
So you have to believe in the concept that this thing that you're doing is going to get you there in one way or another. You don't have to know how, but you have to believe in the concept of belief. And just taking that and swallowing that and understanding that is going to get you so far.
Yeah. And I know I've said this probably in each episode now at this point, but that is why I like to be in your presence, because you not only exude that, you believe in yourself, you believe in what you're doing, but also you believe in the belief.
You believe in the belief, yeah.
But then you make me feel that. So, I look at myself, I'm like, yeah, you know what? She just, like, it's just your energy and the way you speak about things, and makes me believe that I can do anything. And
good.
It really does. So, all right, there's my
thank you. I appreciate that.
Drop for you.
And I think that having that belief in yourself, I've seen it happen for me. I've seen it happen for other people. I mean, you look at any celebrity that's doing what they want to do or why they're a celebrity. I mean, they believed in themselves from inception to whatever they're doing now. Yeah. And even before they saw the result in the material world. And that is something that people cannot understand. They can't comprehend that. How can my physical reality not have what I need or what I want to do? Like, it's a very hard concept to get. But as soon as you can detach from that and you say, like, I am the creator, that's why people say I'm the creator of my life. Yeah. Is because you are the one that's bringing these things into your physical reality. Or the 3D reality, they call it. Like, for example, this cup, wasn't, it didn't just happen. Like, it wasn't already made before somebody said, I want to make it. Somebody said, I want to make it. And then they made it and now it's here. Yeah. So it's just the way to think about things differently. Yeah.
You do a good job explaining it, because it is hard for me to understand, but I get it too.
You get it. Yeah. Everything too. I mean, the construction outside, like, that had to be conceptualized. That had to be thought about.
True.
Before it just appeared.
Let's just take down a bridge and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So that leads into the conversation about multiplying the message and how really imagination is the goal that you want to get to. That's where that's where it truly starts, freedom. And so we're going to take a look at, there's some of the different examples here, but one thing that entrepreneurship has taught me is how to get out of the mindset of working hourly or even salary for money. And so Myron's explanation is the best that I've seen, because I watch all of his stuff on YouTube or listen to it really like while I'm getting ready and stuff. And practical approaches to raising your value and therefore your confidence in currency. So a lot of people might have heard, money is the root of all evil. Well, Myron will go into the literal Bible and tell you that that's only a part of the phrase and go and explain that. And when people say, time is money. Okay, well, is it though? You're creating a connection between a human construct of time and another construct of money.
Right.
And that most people think of as physical dollars. So there's even a challenge there and a disconnect. Because most people don't see it as energy.
Right.
If you can equate the two as energy to energy instead of physical to physical concept, then you'll get it.
I'm thinking of my husband is always for like house projects. I can do it. I'll just figure it out because I don't want to pay someone, right? So it is that like that example that you gave, but if he could take a step back and think of like the value in somebody else doing it,
an expert do it. Yeah, it might cost more, but what's the cost?
Right.
The cost is your time.
Yes.
And you're basically saying that your time isn't as valuable because you're doing it yourself. And that's something that's like, okay, well, what do you mean? What do you mean when you want freedom from your job? What do you mean when you want flexibility?
Right.
That really means I want to do what I want when I want with my time.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to install a new pool deck, you hire the deck people to come install your pool deck.
Yeah.
And then they do it and you pay them. So that way you're spending those however many hours with your family and valuing that time. It's not that you're not valuing the pool deck people's time.
True.
It's that you are valuing your time more than the cost of doing it yourself.
Right. And then I'm also thinking about, we've talked about the flow,
money. Yeah.
Flow of money. So then you're also putting it back into the economy, helping, the pool guys.
Local business.
Yes.
Building relationships with those people.
Right. Right. And then your family. I mean, too.
Yeah, exactly. Those people spend 3, 4, or 5 days at your house.
Right.
You bring them water and maybe a beer if it's after hours. Like they're hanging out with you. They're meeting your kids. Like
true.
Those types of things help you build relationships too. But that's a whole nother conversation, I think. Yeah. And then kind of in that same realm, people just say, save, save, save. And so that's not something that is highly recommended for just in general. It's a mentality of the fear that money's not going to come back. Right? Yeah. But if the money isn't flowing and you're just kind of staying stagnant, right, then it's not going to come back either way. So I just think that you do need to circulate that money, and it's okay if your bank account goes down. Right? What does that mean? What does that mean for you? That means you've spent money doing something that you love, potentially paying bills, but that's okay because you know what? Bills aren't bad. Bills keep the lights on for you. They pay for a shelter. They pay for groceries. Yeah, the price of groceries isn't great, right? But those are all things that you should enjoy doing, right? The moment you change your mentality around your bills and you're like, oh, I'm actually happy to write that check or send out that Venmo for us, people in the younger generation that really like to use Venmo. But, I still do have checks, but
do you though?
More Venmo and whatever, cash.
I really appreciate what you just said, because I think of a lot of my friends, or a lot of just people that I know who live paycheck to paycheck. And there is that like burden and stress of like, I don't even know if I can, get that fun thing for my kid, or I don't know, I don't know where the money's coming from. So what would you say to people who are, kind of in that mentality and that struggle? I mean,
I think their value, or their thoughts of time in work, hard work, is equated to money. So the amount of hours that they work, they know they're only going to get so much.
True.
So it's setting them up for a lack mentality. And so my suggestion would be save up, a little bit of money and go work a sales job. Go work something where you have to you have to create value within yourself first.
Oof.
Rather than the company doing it for you. That's really what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's a company? It's just a bunch of people, right? Stacked up. They have value based off of, thoughts and ideas from one person trickle down to everybody else.
Yeah.
And the people who are working for that company or that group of people, they have that instilled that value inside themselves based off of somebody else. But what if you could do it for yourself? I mean, you're a prime example.
Yeah.
You do that with coaching moms.
Yeah.
So you're working for yourself. You're slowly taking away that connection between I'm working, 10 hours a day, and that's going to give me X amount of dollars.
Yeah. It's not easy, especially because we live.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. And we also live in America where the mentality is all those things that you just said, so you're going against the grain in a sense, and.
But what's the grain?
Oh,
what is the grain? That's what I would like to challenge.
Okay. Yeah. You're going against the masses of people,
Yeah. It's
they're
like common thoughts, common beliefs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, go as deep as like, what is schooling? What is higher education?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just people have told us to go that route because that's what you're supposed to do.
Right. That's the quote unquote next step, right?
Right.
If you follow the sequential order of how you should do things.
Right. And most people don't even use their degrees to this day. I mean, I never used my degree. I used my degree to get another job, but is it worth much today? No, people are looking at your skills. And that's going to be one of the first things that we talk about is skills.
And who you are as a person. Yeah. I could go off topic.
You should.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Rob and I were looking at a statistic the other day, and it said that the only return on investment when you go, and I'm paraphrasing because my brain, the only degree that you can get that has like a positive return on investment, so like you will get what you paid for from college back, is engineering. Everything else, like, music and arts, everything else, like didn't give you the return on your investment. And that was like eye-opening for me, but it also wasn't, because I thought, when I look at all the people, a lot of people say like, I don't even use my degree anymore, but
or I've gotten 3 degrees because I didn't use the first 2.
Right.
It's just like,
yeah.
I'm so fond of obviously the internet, and it could be a rabbit hole, but if you can learn everything on the internet that you want to know. I mean, you just have to pick something that you're interested in. And I think if more people went with that, they don't necessarily have to start a business. I mean, business isn't for everyone. 95% of businesses fail in their first year.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be necessarily, about making your business be about yourself. But if you can add value to someone else's business and they're going to reward you in the way that you deserve to be rewarded, then that's just as good.
Yeah.
So probably not as much stress either. But
yeah. And it's not that we're like against college at all.
No, you need some of those, like, nursing and doctors. They have to go to clinical. They have to learn these things. And and if you are set on that, then you should do that. And we need people like that in this world.
Right. So yeah, do what you love, because
Life short.
Life short,
But it's also long.
Yeah. Especially if you have kids.
Yes. So now we're going to take a look at our value confidence map and explain the 4 levels of value briefly, and then give some examples of how you can increase your value in those categories or jump to another level that might interest you. And you don't have to do them in order. Let's say you could go from 1 to 4, you can go from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, or whatever it is. So I would hope that you would not go backwards from 4 to 1. However, it could happen at different stages of life, think like elderly or, you might get sick or something like that. And these things happen. So, so level 1 for our viewers and listeners, we are showing our confidence map. It's going to be level 1 is implementation, and that's the confidence in doing. Level 2 is unification, and that's the confidence in leading. Communication is level 3, and that's the confidence in your voice. And level 4 is imagination. That's confidence in creating. And so now we're going to talk about implementation, which is the lowest level of value. And when we say lowest, we don't necessarily mean bad. When we say highest, we don't necessarily mean the greatest, but different perspectives of looking at things and how we can better decipher the relationship between time and dollars earned or money.
So the first one is implementation. And what it is it's the level of doing. So these are people who use their hands, time, and physical effort to create value. So think of laborers, drivers, administrative workers, customer service reps. So the pay range typically earns the least because time is limited and tasks are easily replaceable or even automated. And with this, the mindset is, I work hard, so I should get paid more. But hard work alone doesn't scale.
And if you think about that, if hard work meant you got more money, well, then what would that look like? People who are cleaning buildings, they're, nurses, construction workers, they would be getting paid a lot more money if it just had to do with long hours and hard work.
Right.
But that's not the case.
Right.
And you have to ponder and think, why is that? Why is that?
Society? Were you asking me?
Yeah. It just you and everyone else. Yeah. Why is that? So that's kind of the leading to more of the topics that we're talking about. But
for sure,
the confidence tie-in, many people stay stuck here because they don't believe that they're capable of more. And going back to that belief, their identity is tied directly to the effort and not having an impact or giving others more value in a sense of compensation.
Yeah.
So an example for that would be a delivery driver earning $20 an hour, no matter how many packages they drop off. So you can think like Amazon, for example, during the Prime deal days and Christmas time, they're delivering probably 4 times as much, if not more, packages than during the regular year. And they're not getting paid anymore. I mean, they might get a bonus here and there, but they are physically exerting much more energy than they usually do. Right. But what's the reward? Right. They get Employee of the Month. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, there's that different perspective.
I also like to leave out snacks around Christmas time because the drivers do frequent my house. Oh, yeah. So I make sure that
that's good.
I try to help out, but that doesn't mean...
Yeah. Well, it's a good way to make them feel appreciated. And I think any time you can do that for somebody, regardless of if they're doing anything or not for you, is good. And that means like you're a good human and you're providing more value just by being appreciative.
Right.
And grateful.
Yeah. Yeah. And that doesn't even have to be a physical thing. It could be just making sure that, the doorman, you say thank that.
Yeah. Or hold a door for someone. I like to do that all the time. Like, and I'll even hold it for men. I know that's not like, the the way to do it or whatever, but I just hold it and say, oh, no, you go. Like, it's fine. I'm grabbing the door first. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, dance around you so you can hold the door for me and I'll walk in? No. I want to hold the door for you and then you just walk in.
Because I'm like a good human being. Yeah. It doesn't matter,
There's still those like persistent older men who are just like, no, get in front and go in there. I'm holding it for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we digress.
Okay. And then you just shut up and do it because, I'm not going to fight with someone who has a lack mentality. So
touche.
Anyway, the second level of value is unification. So that's going to be the mid-level value, which means slightly higher pay. And what it is managing people who are doing the work at the first level. So it's more leadership, management, and team coordination. Mm-hmm. The pay range is going to be a little bit higher than implementation because you're organizing others now and you're multiplying effort through those people and systems that are designed in the company. Mm-hmm. And the mindset for that is I don't just do, I make sure others do it well. Kind of like if you do well, I do well type of thing. Mm-hmm. But they're still limited by how well you lead. And of course, the size of your team. If you don't have a huge team, or maybe you are, selling lower profit, products, then you might not be able to make as much money.
Right.
Think like groceries, for example, there's not a huge profit margin in a lot of those. So, depending on what store, but think like Walmart, their profit is very low, but they're mass scale.
Yeah.
So managers for Walmart probably do a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. But they have a big team they got to lead. So could be stress.
Yeah.
Confidence tie-in, if you want to talk about that.
Sure. This requires belief in your influence. So people here in this area, they often struggle with imposter syndrome, feeling like they're quote unquote bossy, instead of feeling like effective leaders. So an example of this is a restaurant manager earns a salary to oversee the staff, but still has income limits unless they move up or own equity. Mm-hmm. And I worked in a restaurant and I remember how stressed the managers were, so overwhelmed.
Scheduling people and people calling off and drama.
Yes. And drama within the staff, but then drama also within the customers. And it was a lot. I actually think the manager of the restaurant had either a heart attack or I think he had a heart attack right before they opened the store. Just
oh my gosh,
due to that anticipation.
Yeah.
And he wasn't making any more money when, well, he did own equity, but that's what,
Oh, he's an owner manager.
Yeah.
So not just a manager.
Yes. But when I think about all the other managers too, they were just flying by the seat of their pants,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this level is perfect for me as an example because it's how I felt, having to manage people's schedules and stuff like that. And it just was emotionally not good.
Yeah.
And so to me, maybe got paid a little bit more, but to what, risk per se to my own well-being.
Did you struggle with imposter syndrome in that?
A little bit because I worked with a lot of family and I worked with some family that was maybe, and friends too, maybe older than me.
Yeah.
But because I was in the business longer, I was a family member, I became a manager quicker.
Yeah.
And to that point, it's kind of hard to tell people what to do, but in a way that is not demeaning as a human.
Right.
But sometimes you have to tell them really crappy things. And sometimes you have to tell them really great things.
Right.
So you as a manager are kind of wavering a lot emotionally just by that. Based off of other people.
Right.
And that's the reason why I won't go into management now.
Yeah.
And I'm working more for myself. It's the first time I've actually worked only for myself, which is an incredible feeling. But kind of the society tells us we should go from working for yourself to working as a manager and managing people and then working as a CEO. And it's just does that have to be the way? No. It's just what has been put into our brains.
Yeah.
So, but I really like the belief in your influence part here. That's something that really stuck out to me. And influence is not persuasion. So that's something that is a common misconception. Influence can be a positive or negative, but if you have a positive influence on somebody, what does that mean? And if you believe that you're constantly influencing people in a positive way, then that can only be good.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So
I love, at the end of my emails, I have the Mother Teresa quote of people will not remember what you say, but they'll remember how you make them feel.
Yeah.
And when I think back to all the managers that I've had, some have made me feel good, some have not, you know, but I remember them, the good ones, fondly.
That's good.
All right. So number 3 is communication. And what is this? It's the ability to use words, spoken or written, to move people. So think of salespeople, influencers, coaches, public speakers, and writers. The pay range, potentially unlimited, especially if the message creates demand, trust, or action. I'm just thinking of all the people that I know, the salespeople, the coaches, the public speakers, you know, the ones that have really moved me. Or also gotten me to purchase a car.
Right. You need those people, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you need, like, going back to what we said about the pool deck installers, like the people, they're experts, right? You need somebody that's dealing with cars every day,
right,
to go and talk to them about the car, right?
Right.
You don't have those 8+ hours in the industry doing what they're doing every single day.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to rely on those people, gain trust within those people.
Yeah.
And have them do best for you and by you. And that's very common in, I'm sure, your work and mine as well. Like, I have people that I work with or don't work with that they don't let me take a look at their financial statements, right? But it's like, do you spend time looking at these all day, every day, understanding what this percentage rate means and this surrender charge thing? And like, do you have any conception of that?
Right.
Or no?
Right.
And it's like that lack of trust for the salesperson or the influencer or coach to actually provide that, expertise on a subject. And I just find that interesting to people or from people, but at the same time, maybe those aren't people that I want to work with because they're not open to suggestion from somebody who is an expert in the field. Yeah. And so I'm at the point where I can kind of choose that.
Yeah.
And so it takes a little while to get up there, obviously. But
yeah. No,
I digress.
No, I'm laughing because that's my husband. He doesn't trust anybody for anything. Yeah. So I have to prove in a lot of different ways, you know, hey, this guy's great. And it really takes, I mean, it's a Rob issue.
It might take a while.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, there was a mechanic that we had and he said, well, how's he better? How's he good? I'm like,
because he's doing it all day, every day.
Yes. And he's been in the business for a while. And then he met him and we used him all the time because he was amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the things I try to, put in there more so that in my life, like implement is that I need to have these people come and, install my whatever and, fix my electric and stuff. Because if I do it, I'll probably do it wrong, first of all. And that's not something you want to mess with.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the time thing. I don't really care about how much it's going to cost.
Right.
Sometimes cost is a factor. I get that. But at the same time, it could be your time as well. So
yeah.
The mindset with this is my voice is my value. Confidence is everything here. And if you don't believe in your message, then nobody else will.
Yeah.
So you have to believe in it.
And the tie-in is this level is only available when you own your story, your value, and your worth. If you can't advocate for yourself, it's hard to advocate for anything or anyone else. So an example of this is a speaker who earns $20,000 for one keynote or a content creator who monetizes their brand.
Right. And I think like for this example, it's like, why not? And why not me? Like, why can't my brand do that?
Yeah.
What is the difference between me and Tony Robbins?
Right.
You know what I mean? The difference is he believes in himself. And I'm not saying me specifically, but, everyone out there, he believes in himself and he went, fully into his belief as a speaker, as a coach, trainer. But by the way, I met someone who started at Tony Robbins or with Tony Robbins a couple weeks ago, and he's super cool. He's a coach, and he probably costs just about as much that or more now for a keynote speech. So
wow,
yeah, pretty cool,
super cool, and it really comes back to that. We've talked, it's confidence, but then that imposter syndrome really sneaks in a lot at each of these levels. It still can. But yeah.
And that's just like a test, I think, a test of like, are you fully there yet?
Yeah.
And even if you're 75% of the way through or in there, there might be times where it's like, oh, okay, I think I'm like still in this place. Right. Yeah. But even it's like, think about like when you're in college and you kind of still acted like a high schooler. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Or high school, middle school, elementary school. But it's like, no, sometimes you like eventually you adapt to that new level, that new identity.
Yes.
But in this sense, you're creating it.
Right. I was just talking to a friend and we were talking about how, kind of coming out of the darkness or cloud, like we all kind of
had our moments.
Yeah. And we still, it ebbs and flows depending on, what's going on in life. And, we talked about how with practice though, things can happen faster. You can get out of it faster because now, like you said, you've leveled up, you've changed your mindset, mentality, whatever it may be, to be in a new space. And so you have different tools to use, different, people to go to type thing.
I think the biggest thing too for that is if you do want to level up, what are the skills that people in that category already possess and get really good at those skills.
Yeah.
Gain ideas and insights from the particular person, right, that you might know in that category.
Yeah.
But don't try to be them.
Yeah.
Once you have the skills, you'll naturally adapt based on your past and the skills you already have.
Right.
And you'll create a different story based off of your past.
Right. And then those people, as you were saying earlier, that want to work with you, like they come to you. Attract them. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah. It's a cool, interesting feeling. One that if you're not used to, if
it's weird, then you push it away.
Yeah.
Like, cause you're not used to it. And it's like, no, this is actually exactly the person that I want to work with.
Yes.
So why am I weird about it? Like, but there's that like tension there.
Yeah.
But
it's all growth. I mean, you said that before.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Do you want to talk about number 4?
Yeah. Yeah. So imagination, this is the highest level of value. And there's really infinite potential here. And I like the word potential because it's not like set in stone. And that's what the first 2 levels feel like. So what is it? This level is vision. Vision is like my favorite thing. Entrepreneurs, innovators, creators, people who see solutions before they exist, like we talked about before, and build things of massive value. Sky's the limit for pay range. You really can think about a number and conceptualize that and bring it into your reality. Yeah. You're paid based on the scale of the problems that you solve. So if you solve a really big problem, hate to bring up Amazon again, but will because they did obviously a damn good job. But convenience. They solved the biggest problem of convenience shopping, and also happened to skyrocket during times of economic crisis, but also world threat of disease. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why that business model works. The mindset for this is I don't wait for opportunities and I create them. And this requires trust in your ideas and the discipline to execute. So if you don't trust or believe in your ideas, then this is not going to work for you. You need to develop that first in order to maximize imagination in general.
Yeah.
So
I will never forget one thing that you said to me when I was in a lower place with the business was, well, now I don't remember, was, people need you more than you're like afraid to do it. Do you remember how you said it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, people need what you're offering them more than you being afraid to offer it, type of thing. Like, it's just, how do we bridge that gap of I'm so afraid that I'm not putting myself out there?
Yeah.
And it's just put yourself out there. Like, I'm a big fan of opposites. Like, to break the ice. Like, okay, you hate public speaking? Go public speak.
Yeah.
Like, just get up there or interject during a meeting.
Yeah.
So start with something small.
Right.
But you could also start with something big.
Right.
And make a quick curve that, like, learning gap down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, if you had to go do a keynote speech tomorrow in front of 100 people, would you do it? Could you do it? Do you think that would help your one-on-one conversations? Because, to me, I've already spoken in front of 100 people.
Right.
What's one?
Right.
Right. It's the opposite of like, oh my God, I can't even speak to one and now I got to speak to 100.
Right.
Like, it's just flip it.
Yeah.
It's like cold turkey.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And I don't know why they call it cold turkey, but
I know. For everybody listening, think about those times that you have put yourself out there and how much you have grown from it. It's easy for us to sit here and say, just go do it. But everybody's done it before. Even starting like kindergarten.
Like dating.
How about that? Yeah.
Interviewing for a job. Like, you're putting yourself out there no matter what. It's just in what arena, and what does that mean for you? Right. What is your connection to it? What's your attachment to it? And then you kind of figure it out from there. But next episode, we're going to get into practical ways of how we can really develop in each of these levels and jump from one to another when it feels aligned for us. But we wanted to end the podcast on this little blurb here. So, if confidence is more than a feeling, it is a strategy. Every belief you hold about yourself is a signal you send out to the world. If you believe you can't, you'll pull back, settle, and stop short. But if you believe you can, you'll take the steps, make the ask, and move in a way that attracts opportunity. Your net worth will always rise or fall to meet your self-worth. And that's why, just like we said at the start, when you walk into a room, the energy you carry is already writing your price tag. And as Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So choose the belief that pays you back every single day.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. And remember, your journey to empowered abundance continues on the next episode. Thanks for listening to Vibe and Shine podcast. Keep shining bright.
Thank you.